There is a very grand deception going on, and it is so complex that it is hidden from the eyes of those who do not see the big picture and have not studied, which means 99.999999999999999% of the world. And it's been going on for a long time. And it's taken me 57, nearly 58 years to find out and confirm. It didn't take me long to suspect, but it's taken me a long time to be able to find and confirm enough that I can prove it to other people. And I feel very sorry for us all as a human race, having discovered what has been going on over the last centuries, if not thousands and thousands of years. But I will speak of the present time. And I'm going to have to cross-reference many, many things. And you're going to have to do your own studies to not believe me, rather check up on what I say and see if it's true for yourself. And I will inform you of methods you can use to check up, because that's how I found out. By investigative methods, and gathering information and evidence and learning as much as I could and doing my studies and actually checking and double checking and triple checking, because these days it's very difficult to know what is true. The first thing I'll start with is a British thing, which connects later with everything else. The main story is that there is one group of groups. There's a large group, as a cabal of individual larger groups. Large groups that composes a massive group, one big cabal. There is a cabal, and it's not American, it's global. And to begin to explain that, I'm going to have to explain many things. And so I'll start with the British one, seeing as Queen Elizabeth of the House of Hanover in Germany, Saxony. No, Hanover, is it? No, it's not in Saxony. No, it is not. It's Hanover. So from the House of Hanover, is dead, and we have a new king, or England, some people think they have. I don't have a king. Prince Charles. So a lot of people think that in Britain, royalty does not have that has been slowly, through the process of democracy, stripped of its power over the years and centuries and decades, and just become symbolic in nature. Quote John Oliver, who I really like, but I disagree with him on that, because he doesn't know about the Order of the Garter. If you look at Prince Charles and his sons, you will often see them wearing an 8-pointed star. Might have a red cross. They call it the George cross. It isn't. It's a Templar's cross. From the Templar Secret Society of the Knights Templar. And the Order of the Garter was a secret way of the Knights Templar, who would wear a garter on their thigh, as a way of recognition and a way of hiding their membership and showing it if they needed to. And Prince Charles, or now King Charles, is the head of the Order of the Garter. And his two sons are also different members of the Order of the Garter. Their badges are different. You will see the Cross of Lorraine. You might see 3 crowns. You might see the various forms of the Maltese Templar cross, because the Templars built the port of Malta, of Valletta in Malta. So that's what they call the Maltese cross. Is actually a Templar cross. I know, I grew up in Malta, and I've seen the 8 Auberges and the house of the Palace of the Grand Master, which is the seat of government in Malta. The Grand Master, a Grand Master is head of the Templar Order, of his delegated area, So, Prince Charles is now head of the Order of the Garter. The House of Lords and British Parliament must have many members of the Order of the Garter there, and they have to report to and order around and also receive reports from and orders from King Charles, the head of the Order of the Garter in Britain. You will see Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum also wearing the 8-pointed silver star with a ruby in the middle and a Templar cross sometimes. It has various ones. They have various statuses, various purposes, yeah, and various symbols, but it's all roughly the same, yeah. You'll have a Templar cross, you might have a ruby, you have the 8-pointed star, the Maltese cross, the cross of Lorraine, yeah. Klaus Schwab is head of the Templars in, I believe, the European sector, the head of the whole European sector, I believe. If not, then the Bavarian sector, yeah, lodge. And Prince Charles is the head of the Garter in Great Britain. And don't think he doesn't meet up with House of Lords, judges, politicians, parliamentarians who are members, because they have to. It's part of the secret society's purpose. So, royalty in England does have a foot in government. In fact, they have a say more than you will ever think. Yeah? And in the City of London. I don't mean London town. There is an area of London called the City of London. It has its own government, its own police force, its own army, and its own laws. And it is above British law, stands above and is untouchable. And most of its money and power is allocated in the Cayman Islands and the Bermuda Islands, as displayed by the World Consortium of Investigative Journalists in their expose of millions of documents exposing politicians, royalties, high-standing corporates, and people with good names who actually turned out to be bad people, yeah, and scammers and God knows what, in the Paradise Papers, which you can see on YouTube under Vice TV, the Paradise Papers. They spent years compiling it with the World Consortium of Investigative Journalists, and there's still hundreds of journalists still working with these millions of papers. The Prime Minister of Finland had to resign because he got caught laundering money with that. So, this is all to do with how King Charles, the Order of the Garter, secret society, how they have incepted and control Parliament and the House of Lords and laws and legislation in Great Britain, how the Klaus Schwab and the other members and stakeholders, because that's what they are, yeah, that's why the Paradise Papers, these offshore Cayman Island and Bermuda Island banking, money laundering schemes and Ponzi schemes, yeah, all hidden there, yeah. It's all to do with this group of people who are trying to control the world, and to a great extent do, and control people's perception, and even rewrite and change history, which they have been doing every third generation for quite a long time now. And that's where this talk is going to end, with that particular topic. But first I shall have to continue to explain the pieces of the puzzle. So, that is the Order of the Garter. I shall now explain a little bit about the City of London. The City of London is a sector that is kind of cordoned off by legislation in London. It's populated by zillionaires, very, very powerful people, not famous people. There's a few famous people in there, have to have a few because of the role they have to play, but mostly you'd walk past them on the street and never even know. Yeah, but these people control everything. And the City of London have meddled in politics and world geopolitics for a very, very, very long time. Yeah, probably since Magna Carta. But I would have to, I'm not that far in my studies on the City of London, how far it goes back, their story of what's going on there. But it's all connected with the Order of the Garter. It's connected with blue blood lineages that have perpetuated their seat above the poor people and the people they use as their carpet and their bottom floor and cellar. Yeah. If there were no farmers, there'd be no fruits for us to eat, right? And no policemen and army to protect them, they wouldn't be able to sit on the top there, yeah? And if they didn't have gold to give to those people, because most people want sensible people near the upper echelons, they're more interested in, not in greenbacks, that's just paper. They're interested in the power of having a hold on resources and controlling those resources and being able to withhold those resources. I'm talking about oil, steel, gold, silver, rubies, metal, even iron and copper and lead and nickel and tin, not just emeralds and diamonds, because you need, and tungsten to make aeroplane wings with, yeah? He who controls that, you don't need money, because you need money to get those things, to build things with. But if you've got all the stuff everybody else needs to buy with their money, you can put your price on it however you want, because they need aeroplanes. And if they can't build aeroplanes without your tungsten, then they're pretty ducked, aren't they? Ducked up the bass, the sea bass. Ducked right up the hole of the sea bass from behind. I'll duck you in your bass. Just trying not to swear. You change the D for an F. I'll duck you in your bass. Remove the B from the fish called a bass. If you remove the B from the beginning of the word, B-A-S-S, take the B away. Yeah. I'll duck you, take the D away and replace it with an F, up your bass. Take the B away and leave the A-S-S. So the City of London, to understand it completely, I would ask anybody who follows this story and is interested to study the Spider's Web, Britain's Second Empire. I think it's called that. If you YouTube search the Spider's Web, Britain's, and stop and just press search, you will find it. And watch that documentary to save me explaining, because this clip is slowing my mouth down and not rolling properly. It's not syncing. Look at my mouth and listen to my words. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I shall now continue with the next episode with a new clip. That's the end of this clip. So this is part 1 of The Great Deception. That's how I'm going to title it. And another couple of episodes, and hopefully end with more slideshow kind, not me in watercolor like this, but I hope to support it with pictures and show maybe some screencast. I might do it to show you more or less how our perception is being manipulated and how we are being fooled about many things, including the pandemic and the supposed injection thing against it, and the number of people who lost their lives in that supposed period of pandemic, and many things, many deceptions going on, financial, through the media. But the worst is that history is being erased and rewritten. Yeah. And I will prove that that's been done, show how it's been done before, and show how it's being done again now. And it's terrible. It's really terrible. But the thing is, the history I learned was also rewritten. So I dug further even than that. I found when I see current history now being rewritten and deleting history I can still remember, as if it never happened. Burn all of the books. And when there's no more paper books, which is quite soon, save the planet, no more paper. then they can just change digitally in the database what history is. Wikipedia can just change whether a person existed or not, whether he was a hero or a villain, which is what George Orwell's book 1984 is about. The Ministry of Truth. The Ministry of Lies, right? The Ministry of Truth and Lies, which is what I have actually tattooed on my neck. The words truth and lies. Is that a coincidence? Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, the Ministry of Truth and Lies. Yeah, and that was Orwell's prediction of 1984, written in 1948. George Orwell. Read the book. Read Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, and read Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, where they burn all of the books. And I will recount to you about how Stalin, with his communist revolution, managed to burn and remove every single book, historical book and book about the world, and burn them all and reprint and reissue to every school, every university, every library, and destroy truth and recreate it completely. And he succeeded, Stalin. That's going to be one of my proofs I put forth. But for now, please study The Spider's Web, Britain's Second Empire, The City of London, and read those books I said. Yeah, 1984 by George Orwell, Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, and Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Stay informed, and that will help you understand everything I'm going to say in these podcasts, because it's going to take quite a few episodes. So from the world of watercolor, I'd like to say, stay safe, don't be a fool, and be careful what you watch or believe on Netflix, because it's all intended to influence your perception. But enjoy what's on Netflix like I do. But remember, they're watching you with their algorithm, and a lot of those productions are made to alter your perception by companies owned by shell companies that are owned by the people who want to alter our perception, including secret societies and government secret agencies. And history and released government declassified top secret files already confirm that they've done that many times and admitted. So there's no need to doubt that at all. They just need to recognize not just what they released from the past, declassified files, that they poisoned their own people, that they brainwashed their own people, that they did this to their own people. What you have to do is recognize what they're doing to you, to us, now, because they are. They did it before, and they keep doing it now. So wake up, everybody. Some of you already are. Some of you have yet to believe because it sounds too fantastic, which is why it's taken me 58 years to dig up the truth. Because I take things with a pinch of salt and see till I see proof. I don't believe easy a paranoid conspiracy theory. I look up the facts and I triple check, like I do with the amulets I sell. Yeah, before I speak and say this is true, because I don't like lies. And this is the biggest deception and lie I've ever come across. We are lucky to live in this time, but we are also very unlucky, because this is a time that we have to topple it. And to do that, people who have realized and seen it and can see it, like myself, have to teach others. How are we going to do that? Well, we're going to do that en masse, together. But don't worry, it doesn't have to be violent. It's done in a non-violent manner. I will show you. A lot of you will like it because you might call it magical. It's scientific. There's a science behind everything. It's only magic until you understand it. So, till next episode, Ajahn Spencer, signing off.